Welcome to English Universe. In this lesson, you will improve your English by listening to a story. Listen carefully and repeat after me to practice pronunciation. Let's begin. My name is Olivia, and I want to share how I went from being incredibly shy to truly confident. If you had met me a few years ago, you would have seen a girl who avoided eye contact, spoke in whispers, and did everything to stay unnoticed. But one event changed my life, and I want to tell you about it. Growing up, I was always the quiet one. In school, I never raised my hand. If a teacher called on me, my face would turn red and my heart would race. Even though I knew the answers, I just couldn't bring myself to speak. At home, I wasn't much different. Family gatherings overwhelmed me. I preferred sitting in a corner, listening to conversations rather than participating in them. As I got older, my shyness became a real problem. In high school, I had trouble making friends. I wanted to be included, to laugh and talk freely, but something inside me held me back. I envied confident people. I wondered how they could speak so effortlessly, how they could stand in front of a crowd and not feel like running away. Then came college. I hoped that things would change, but my shyness followed me. I stayed quiet during group discussions, avoided social events, and missed opportunities. One day, my professor announced a class debate. My stomach dropped. Public speaking was my worst fear. I considered asking to be excused, but I knew I couldn't avoid it forever. The week before the debate, I felt sick with worry. I wrote my arguments carefully, but practicing out loud was terrifying. I kept imagining myself freezing in front of everyone. The night before, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking, what if I embarrass myself? The day of the debate arrived. My hands were trembling. When it was my turn, I stood up. My heart pounded so loudly I thought everyone could hear it. I opened my mouth to speak, and at first my voice was barely audible. But then something incredible happened. As I spoke, I focused on my words rather than my fear. I started to feel stronger. By the time I finished, I couldn't believe I had done it. After class, something surprising happened. A classmate came up to me and said, "You spoke really well. I could see you were nervous, but you didn't give up." I was shocked. Instead of focusing on my mistakes, they noticed my effort. That moment changed everything. I realized that confidence isn't about being perfect, it's about pushing through fear. From that day on, I made a decision. I would no longer let shyness control me. I started small. Every day, I made an effort to speak up at least once in class. I practiced conversations in front of the mirror. I challenged myself to make eye contact and smile at strangers. It was uncomfortable at first, but each small step made me stronger. Then I took an even bigger step. I joined a public speaking club. Walking into my first meeting was terrifying, but I reminded myself why I was there. The first time I spoke, my voice shook, but no one laughed. Instead, they encouraged me. Week by week, I improved. I learned to manage my nerves. I learned to express myself clearly. And most importantly, I learned that I was capable of change. Over time, my confidence grew beyond just speaking. I started standing taller. I walked into rooms without fear. I made new friends. I realized that the only thing holding me back all these years was my own fear. One day, I looked in the mirror and saw someone new. Someone who no longer hid in the background. Someone who was finally free. But my journey didn't stop there. Confidence isn't something you achieve once and keep forever. Something you have to nurture. So I kept pushing myself. I took on leadership roles in group projects. I started conversations with strangers. I even signed up for a storytelling contest. Challenge made me stronger. Then an opportunity came that I never would have imagined taking before. A professor asked me to present a project at a conference. A few years ago, I would have said no without hesitation. But this time I said yes. Standing on that stage, speaking to an audience, I realized how far I had come. I wasn't that shy girl anymore. Looking back, I see that confidence isn't about never feeling afraid. It's about doing things despite the fear. It's about growth, persistence, and self-belief. If you struggle with shyness, I want you to know that change is possible. Confidence isn't something you are born with, it's something you build. Start small. Take one step every day. Keep going even when it feels scary. One day you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. Thank you for listening to English Universe. Keep practicing and see you next time.